Yeah, I went down to get my bike at the garden. There was a big boar, which is a male bear, down at our fort. My heart raced. It stared at me for a minute and then ran. And I stood watching it, and I looked down to the end of the field. And I saw one of the cubs from the sow.
Are you supposed to be at the garden?
No, I wasn't supposed to be, but our cousin brought her bike, which she rarely does, so I wanted to get my bike.
Oh, so you went where you weren't supposed to go, out of our boundaries in bear season. Are you going to do that again?
Probably not.
A question that is often asked about living in the north is, how do we handle parenting and bear country? So, first of all, Frey, you're gonna need to give me a second. Not all times a year are bad for bears. I hear you, Frey. Put it on the counter so I can fill it up for you. Spring and fall are the worst times for bears. Hamish used a peanut butter knife in the honey jar. Now my tea tastes a little bit like peanut butter. Anyhow, so in spring, when the bears are coming out of hibernation, so we're talking like April, May. They're coming out of hibernation and they're hungry. They are hungry bears who have not eaten in months. That is the time when the kids have to stay closer to the house. And then the other time is fall, when the bears are trying to eat up their stores and get ready for hibernation. So, right now we're in fall, September, and there's bears everywhere. This valley is crawling with bears, and we have 5 who we are seeing on our property on a regular basis. And that's just what we're seeing. So we're talking, Hamish, that's enough things. We're talking black bears, and we don't see grizzlies, but there is grizzlies. Mostly we just see black bears. There is no hunting season for grizzlies, and even if they are a problem, you are not allowed to shoot them. Black bears, there is a hunting season for them, or if they are a problem at your livestock, etc., either you can shoot them or you can call a conservation officer, like my in-laws, some of Mary's siblings currently have a bear trap in their yard that the CO put there because they have a crazy problem bear. That's me, yes. So, let me kind of show you our outdoor parameters. So, we have 34 acres, but by no means are the kids allowed all over the place on that 34 acres due to just bears and other things. This deck is a little wet. I should not have walked out here in my socks. But I'll show you. So over on this side, you can see the highway. You'll see a vehicle pass there in a second. So the kids can go out in this field here. Put my tea down so I can point for you. So there's a fence line right there that goes into a cow field. So they can go in this hay field here. But then there's like a boundary. It's basically where we can see them. So there's a calf in here. They can play here. There's a laneway there. So they have to stay on this side of the laneway. They can stay where we can see them here. Again, they can't go behind any of those buildings where we can't see them. And they can go here. There's a driveway. They don't go into that field just because it's a forage silage field. So they stay out of there so they can go in that fence line, that driveway, and then they can play in the yard here, and then they can play behind the house there.
Got these.
You got some pliers? So they still have a few acres to play on within view of the house. Freya, do you want to go ask the boys to let the dog off? She's unhappy about something. You're not going to take her off? You're going to prune flowers with it? So what sort of precautions... Hey, Freya, can you be a little quieter? What sort of precautions do we use when it's the time of year when bears are everywhere?
I mean, like, precautions.
Like, what do we bring with us?
Shotgun and dog.
We do?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we bring a dog?
Dog smells the bear, sees it way before we do, because we're always blind when we're out in the bear territory. And the gun is
The gun, the first thing I would do would be probably, oh, you want to look? To just shoot over the bear's head if it was far away, but still needing to leave, just to scare it away. What you think?
Do you think that'd be cool?
Luckily, the times of year when bears are the worst is also when there's an open season on bears, and we have hunting licenses, and we have tags, and we can get 2 bears each. So, you know, you can get them if they're going after your livestock and such, but we can just get them legally under our tags anyways at the times of year when they're a problem. What were you just asking there, Mac?
If there's a law, if like a bear's going after your kids or livestock, if you can shoot it during when it's not hunting season.
If it's a black bear, for sure. If it's a grizzly bear, I think you still have to call the conservation officer. Or if you did have to shoot a grizzly bear, the grizzly bear closure is only a recent thing, and it's actually kind of silly because the law is made by those who sit at desks in Vancouver, in the city, not those who are out here in the bush with grizzlies, which would be awfully handy to be able to shoot a grizzly that's hanging around in your yard before it kills something. And it was even admitted that it's nothing to do with grizzly bear numbers or their numbers being endangered. It is a purely political thing, and that the lobbyists feel that grizzlies should not be shot. So, that's my opinion on the closure of the grizzly bear hunt. If you had to...
Most people say that because they're pretty, they don't need to be shot. But
so if we did have to shoot a grizzly because it was like actively tearing apart a cow in our yard, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure like if you had to shoot it, you would then immediately call a conservation officer for them to come out and check it out. I get a lot of questions about like difference between black bears and grizzlies in terms of those sort of things. Black bears we can just shoot, grizzly bears we cannot. I hope that it turns around and that the grizzly bear hunt is open again, because you know, for those of us who live out here amongst them, it would be awfully good for the safety of our families. So the kids used to have a fort down at the garden, but they can't go down there now. So now they have this fort that they made up here amongst the chicken coops. You can see the wood entrance. They got all sorts of scrap wood from our burn pile. And they have a little fort there so that they can still go play in a fort since they can't go down to the garden without an adult. Who's working and who's taking care of the kids? And he's like, I feel like this is kind of a crazy thing. And I'm like, I feel like it's gonna happen. I am visualizing it. I'm working towards it. It's not just a dream. It's not just a goal. I am. Even though he thinks it's ridiculous, he has given me the... Shit, there's a bear. Hold that thought. You might need to go shoot a bear. Let's go see if it's mama bear or male.
I don't see any cubs.
It's the male. You don't see any cubs? Okay, we might be going to shoot a bear here. It's not quite close enough. Okay, let's go get the other kids inside and hope this bear comes close enough that we can shoot it. I was talking about YouTube. Okay, the point is, my husband said I can buy a camera to up my sound and video quality, and I'm really excited. Okay, I'll let you know if I shoot it. Kids are right here by the house, and the bears are... Can you see that tiny speck in the green field? It's Mama Bear. You get to... Yeah, there's the bears. There's 3. And also, the funny thing is that, can you see our cows? Our beef cows are just hanging out there with the... Your questions of... You can hear the dog going crazy about the bears. If the bears are a danger to the cows, there's the cows and the bears together. They're just chilling.